Hello friends, myself Ravi Nania, and today my Viva topic is assembler, compiler and interpreter. So first of all we will talk about what the need of why we need assembler, compiler, interpreter etc. In computer. So in our day-to-day life, the one of the best example is when you travel to another state or another country, we are not friendly with their languages. So we have only two chances, or we have only two ways to communicate with that peoples or peoples living there. First is that we have to learn that language, but for instantly that is not possible. We can do so. We need one person or someone who know both the languages. That is our friendly languages, or language in which we are easy to understand or easy to speak, and another language which the people staying there can understand. So the person act as translator. It take input from us in computer language. It take input from us in our language and translate it into their original language, and take the output from them in their original language and give the output to us as our language. So as same as in computer understand only machine language, which is written in zeros and one, that is binary. So to communicate with computer directly, we need to give instructions in a machine level language, that is in zeros and one. So at the starting, when the programming languages or computer is created, the at first the programmer or the developer used to give instruction in the machine level languages, because they are that much capable so that they can give the instruction in zeros and one. But as the time increases, we human need more efficient or more friendliness to control with or to communicate with machines. So at first the assembly language is introduced. Assembly languages use that means we can say modules or modulus, which means when we need to add two numbers. That means when we need to add two numbers, we just need in our day-to-day life, we need for example we say we need to add a and b. In daily life, in mathematics, we say a plus b equals to that a plus c or c number. So in assembly language, the instruction is given in English like statements like a add b. So in assembly code we have to write add a and b, a comma b. So this is the assembly language, and to execute that statement, because machine or computer understand machine level language, so to understand that language, assembly language use one compiler or one translator, that is called as assembler. So this is first assembler is used, and that's the why assembler is used. The second one is compiler, and I will simultaneously tell you the difference between assembler and interpreter. So assembler and interpreter are both are working like same, but they have their functionality or their doing performance is different. So compiler execute or compile the code, full code at one time. It execute or compile the full code, and at last it will give errors or the some syntax error which we find. It will show at the last, and it will show the line number also, so that we can find easily to or we can search the error where we find errors etc. So the next is interpreter. Interpreter compile or execute the code line by lines. So it means when you execute your code, it will execute by line. First line executed, second executed. At the third time, if there is an error, it will stop working, and it will instantly show the error at that time. So for time efficiently, we can say compiler is better, but for in some cases interpreter is better, because interpreter require less space than compiler. And some cases compiler is better, because once you compile the code, your code is converted into .exe file, or in some languages it converted into .class file, that is bytecode. or which in further we don't need to compile it or don't need to compile again, and we can directly execute it into or directly run from that .exe file or .class file. In other side, interpreter, every time we need to execute or interpret the code to run the code, so it requires times, as we saw, a compiler create another file that is executable file, that .exe file, so it requires more space. But it has, in other hand, interpreter doesn't require more space, because every time we need to compile, interpret it line by line, and it will show the output. After that we need to again interpret it as same as other programs. So both has its cons and pros and cons. But some languages support, like at initially some languages support, so we can say the best example of compiler is C, CPP, etc. Whereas the one of the best example of interpreter, that is Java, but Java support both compiler and interpret, but we say as interpreter. Python support interpreter, etc. So with this I will like to finish my today's video, and I will like to say thank you.